Hey everyone, welcome back to Williamson Ridge Outdoors. Today we are standing at the back of our Kioti CS2520S because I have another ballast video for you. So a while back I did a video about putting liquid ballast in the tires and how drastic of a difference it makes to have that ballast. And you could visually see how easy it was to push the tractor over, with no ballast in the tires. And then whenever I filled the tires with liquid, then it made it a lot harder to tip the tractor over. So today we kind of have the same demonstration, but this time we're going to add wheel spacers onto the tractor, and we already have our liquid ballast in there. So this should make an even more dramatic difference between not having any ballast at all and then adding the liquid ballast and then adding the spacers. So with that in mind, right now with just the liquid ballast in the tires, it is fairly difficult to get this tractor to tip. And I'm sitting here on a pretty steep slope, and it's actually really muddy right now. And I was sitting here and I was trying to push it over, and it was actually sliding the tractor down the hill because of the mud. But this is kind of the dry spot I have right now to try this on. But we should be able to get a fair demonstration of how well this works. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you. Again, I don't have a scientific way to do this. I don't have any type of a load cell or anything like that to be able to show you how much force I'm pushing on the tractor. It was very apparent on the first video of doing the liquid ballast, and I think that same difference is going to apply here, because total I'm going to add 3 inches to the width, and that 3 inches I think will make another drastic difference in it. So I know a lot of times it's really hard to tell how steep a slope is whenever you are seeing this on camera, but I'm standing here and I'm standing straight up, and you can see I can't reach over to my roll bar because the tractor is sloped so far over to one side. But even with that, you can see it's actually fairly hard to tip right now, but I can raise this tire off the ground with a little bit of force. But you can see it's actually coming right back down. It's not trying to continue to tip because there is so much weight on the bottom of this. If I had to guess, I'm probably pushing close to 100 pounds of pressure going that way to get this thing to tip. I am actually kind of straining a little bit, but I can raise it up. So with that in mind, we're looking at this and you say, well, why do you need it any harder than that to tip? Well, when you hit bumps and uneven places and rocks, or you come through an area and you hit a hole that you didn't see while you're mowing, those kind of things can kind of take you off guard. And if you're already on a steep slope and you drop that lower tire into a hole, and at that point it can get pretty unnerving. It can take you by surprise, and then those kind of things will kind of upset the tractor and can cause a rollover a little bit easier. So I'm going to mark exactly where my back tires are at, so we can get a perfect comparison between with and without the spacers. And then we'll come back down here after we put the spacers on, and we'll see what a difference it makes. So as you notice, as I'm putting these spacers on, the Kioti wheels actually take wheel bolts. And by putting the spacers on, you actually bolt the spacers to the tractor, but then the spacers themselves actually have wheel lugs. So as you go to put the wheels back on, you have the studs to actually line up your holes and stuff with. I really like this a lot better because it helps you to line that up, and you can kind of hang your tire on one of the studs and then work your tire the rest of the way on to match your studs up. Makes mounting your wheels a whole lot easier. So we're adding 1.5 inches to each side of the back of the tractor. As you can see right here, the clearance that it's made now, right back in here between your frame rails and your tractor, 3-point and backhoe mount, we got some clearance. On the other side, you can see how close that is. So this side does not have the spacer on it. But I wanted to show you this before I put the other spacer on to give you an idea, that 1.5 inches, you've only got about 3/4 of an inch or so right here without it, and then we're adding that 1.5 inches to it. Pretty substantial difference in the clearance. So something else to take into consideration when you're putting wheel spacers on, depending on the size of your deck, you're moving your back tires out towards your casters. And on some decks, like say if you had a 54-inch, you might not have the room right here, to really widen these out a lot. But as you can see, I've got plenty of clearance here on mine. But I also have the 60-inch deck. Okay, well let's run down and try it out. Hopefully it is still daylight enough to where you will be able to see well enough to tell the difference. So let's run down there and check it out. So I know this is going to sound crazy, but stepping onto the tractor on the concrete floor, I could feel a difference in the stability of it just stepping on it. I'm sitting in the exact same spot that I was earlier, and I could definitely feel as I was coming around through there that the tractor was not even wanting to get that little tipsy feeling that you can feel in that narrower stance. So let's see how hard it is to try to tip this thing over now. So again, I'm standing, actually my toes are against the tires, and you can see how far the tractor is leaned over here. With me standing pretty much straight up, I can't reach the roll bar on this, even though my feet are actually against the tires over here. I can't even lift it up. Now I know before I told you it was probably about 100 pounds of pressure, so it was still taking quite a bit to lift it. Holy cow. Dramatic difference. Holy cow. And like I say, I'm sitting in the same spot. I've actually got a stick over here at this rear tire where I marked it, where I was sitting at. I got it to raise up right there finally. Wow. What a drastic difference that makes. So guys, it's getting dark. I hope that you could see the dramatic difference that makes in the stability on this machine. If you've ever wondered about wheel spacers, yes, they make a huge difference. If you've ever wondered about liquid tire ballast, check out the other video I have about putting the tire ballast in there and doing it yourself and saving some money. But between the two, that makes this tractor extremely stable. And I actually can't believe that difference. Now, I had 1.5 inch spacers, so 3 inches total between, both sides. I had a goal in mind on this that I did not want to exceed. And what I mean by that is the stance of the tractor, I didn't want to get too wide to fit through, gates and, that kind of stuff. If I do side jobs, you can fit this tractor through a 48-inch gate. And the 48-inch gate opening usually is around 51, 52 inches. So this tractor was 46, and now that I've added those spacers on there, I'm only looking at 49, so I can still fit through that 51-inch opening on most chain link fences, and of course if you have a bigger opening, easier. Now you can't fit the 60-inch mower deck, but I may not be using a mower deck. In fact, the last job I took the tractor and the loader and done a job and went through a fence and had no problems getting through there. And that's exactly what I'm wanting to keep, is being able to have that versatility with this tractor. Can take it in town and be able to get it into small yards and small areas. You can go wider spacers. You could put 3 inches on each side if you wanted to go really dramatic. But like I say, I wanted to kind of find a balance in between. You got 1 inch, 1.5. I'm sure they make 2, but all the way up to 3-inch spacers. And I think the 1.5 for me is the best. So like I say, I know this was not scientific, but I hope that it done a good job of demonstrating the difference that you can expect with having tire spacers and also having liquid ballast. These wheel spacers were pretty inexpensive. I think they were about 36 bucks. Got them off of Amazon. I will leave a link in the description below where you can find those. And also you can check out, the other spacers if you have, if you'd want to go different sizes or whatever, but they fit right up to our Coyote tractor without any problems. But if you enjoyed the video and you felt like you got something out of it, I appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button. I appreciate you all watching. And until next time, I'll see you outdoors.